Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at High Score. This is a 2 to 5 player game designed by Rainer Knizia and published by Cosmos Games. In High Score, you're trying to get the highest score, and you're trying to win in each round. So the person with the highest score in each round will win different place points, and the person with the most points at the end of the game will win. Let's go ahead down to the table here. I'll show you how this game plays, and then we're going to come back and give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is what a game of High Score looks like. In the game of High Score, you're going to be playing over 7 rounds, and the person with the most points at the end of the 7th round wins. For setup of the game, it's pretty simple. Everybody's going to get their little cube in their color, just place them in the middle, and then they can hold on to this little piece of cardboard here, token that will show when they get over 30 points, but also let them know, remind them what color they are. You're going to put these dice out for everyone to be able to reach, and then you're going to shuffle up this deck. And this deck is just a deck of objective cards, and these are going to be an objective for each round that you're trying to meet. So then I will deal out 7 of these cards, and I'll put the other ones back in the box. They won't be used. So this is a pretty healthy deck of cards. So there's going to be a lot of variety in each of the games. So each game will be different based on which one of these cards get left into the game. So there's 7 cards here, and what you're going to do to start a round is you're going to pick someone to go first, and then you're going to flip this card. And this card's going to tell you a lot of different information on what you need to do to score the highest amount of points in that round. So, all right, so one thing that I want to point out real quick before we show you what that card all does is this dice is going to have 6 sides. And one of these sides is going to be the vortex side, which is this, looks like a fingerprint. This vortex side is going to be different depending on what the card says. But on the die it has 1 through 5, just like a normal 6-sided die, and the vortex is on where the 6 would normally be. Now for this one, it's pretty simple rules here. The vortex is going to be worth 0 points, so if you have vortex at 0 points, after your first roll, you can roll up to 3 times, which is nice, and all the die faces count. So this one's very simple. You're just going to roll up to 3 more times after your first roll, so 4 times, and the person with the highest amount of points in face die will win. So that will look like this. So I roll. I'm the first player. I have 2 zeros, but probably wouldn't want to hold to. I probably don't want to hold on to any of these. So this would be my second roll. I'll probably hold on to that 5 and not the vortex. This would be, well, this is my first re-roll of these 3 that I can do. This is going to be a second re-roll of the 3 I can do. I got some more 5s. I mean, they'd be better if they're 6s, but I'm going to hold on to these, and this will be my, let's see what I got here, another 5. And let's say I stayed with that. So if I stayed with that, I would have 10, 20, 30, 32 points. I would take my, let's say I'm a black player, I would take my little cube and put it on 2 and flip over this to show that I have 32 points. Each other player is going to get a chance to roll and do this, and at the end of the round, so let's say it looks like this, the person with the highest amount of points, in this case blue, is going to get 3 points. The person with the second highest amount of points, in this case black, would get 2 points. And then the third place person, white, would get 1 point. And that would end that round. We're going to be doing this 7 times, but we're going to be flipping over this card here and following these rules. And each of these are going to be a little different. So this one here, the vortex is going to show, which again is going to be this guy right here, is going to show that it's worth 10 points. Sorry, not really 10 points, but 10, the number 10. It's worth number 10. So this is worth the number 10. And that's important because in this one, only pairs of 10 or groupings of 10 will count. Anything that can't be put in a grouping of 10 is going to be negative points. Also, you have up to 4 rerolls past your first roll, but you have to reroll all 7 dice. So if I roll this, and I got 2 10s, so those are great. And this makes a 10. If I didn't want to re-roll again, I would have 10, 20, 30 minus 6, so I'd have 24 points. If I did want to re-roll, I would have to re-roll everything. Oh, wow. That's not too bad, actually. This is actually even better, so I'd probably stay with this because this would be 29 points. So it'd be 10, 20, 30, minus 1, 29 points. I didn't mention there's a couple things that happen when you finish a round. Let's do that right now. So what you would have done at the beginning of the round is you would have put all these cubes in the middle. You would have flipped your 30s over. So you reset the scores for that. You keep your little chips. And the person who, in this case, the blue player that got the gold for the last round will become the first player. So they actually have a penalty, sort of, because when they roll and they get their score, every other player can push their luck to beat that score, because they know that if they don't beat that score, or they're not going to get the gold chip. They might be okay with getting second place or first place, depending on how much they want to push their luck. But that's a big portion of this game. Then you would have flipped over that gold card, and we would have done that. So this one, if this one ended, someone would have got the 3-pointer. And there's a good variety of different types of cards and different rules for the goals. And like I said, you got a giant stack of them that you didn't use, that you wouldn't have been using in each game, that could come out at any time. And in the back of the book, let me find that here. So in the back of the book here, it has a good explanation of what all these are. And the iconography, you pick up on it pretty quick. You might be using this a lot on the first game, but after that, you'll get it down. And the game is very, very quick. So while your first game might be bogged down slightly by figuring out what each of these cards does and what you need to do as a goal, and the first player should figure that out, read it off, and explain the card to all the other players before they start rolling. Once you get that going, you can play through games of this very, very quickly. It's super easy to set up, and you can even put this in, I bet you could put this in like a small Ziploc bag, even smaller than the box that this comes with, and make it highly portable, even though this box isn't very that large either. So yeah, that's it. So in a nutshell, that's how you're going to play the game. Just to recap, you will be shuffling up and creating a stack of 7 cards to start the game. You're going to give each player a color that they're going to play as. First round, randomly determine who's the player. You'll flip out one of these gold cards. Everyone will roll. The person with the highest points will get the 3-point token, second 2-point, and third player will get the 1-point token. You'll continue to flip these until you're out of cards. At that point, you'll finish that round, and at the end of that round, you'll add up the score, and the person with the highest points wins. So let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on high score. So high score. High score has a great component quality. I like the chunky dice in it. It's really nice, and I like the player board and all that stuff. I think that for the type of game it is, the component quality is just great for it. The game itself is very easy to teach, so that's always a bonus. It's really quick playing, and the iconography is good for this game. Once you learn a couple of them, you're pretty good for the rest of the time. And it's very detailed in the rule book on what each of these do, so if you do have a question, it's in there, which is nice. And the gameplay goes through pretty quick pace. So where would I recommend this game for? I'm not sure that I would recommend it necessarily for the older crowd of like heavy gamers, but any casual gamers or children I would highly recommend this game for, because it is a really fun game that you don't need to really learn a lot to play and have fun. But like I said, with the heavy gamers, this might become you might play it a couple times and be good. But with children and whatnot, this game is great because it's super easy to teach. Like I said, it flows very quickly, and it's fun, and they get to have some cool decisions that whether they push their luck or not. And there's some stand-up moments in the game, which is very important. So that's my thoughts on high score. Thank you for watching.